Video game sequels are a weird thing. Unlike movie sequels, there is a much better chance that it will be an overall improvement on the original due to developers being able to expand on what had come before, meaning that we have a hell of a lot of brilliant video game sequels currently on the market. But which ones are the best? My name is Mikey from respawning.co.uk, and this is my top 10 video game sequels of all time.
Back in town, baby! Yeah!
Number 10, The Witcher 3. I'm going to address this controversial entry early. I understand that for the majority of you out there, The Witcher 3 would easily be in your top 3, if not taking the number 1 spot itself. But if you know me, then you know that I'm not much of an RPG guy, meaning that this epic has passed me by. After having multiple people tell me that I need to play this game regardless of my distaste for RPGs, I gave it a try. Though I am still playing through it, I can already see why people hold this game in such high regard. After a bit of research and conversation with friends about the previous games in the series, I now understand why The Witcher 3 needs to be in this list. So here it is. Will it manage to climb the rankings as I continue to play through this classic? Watch this space. Number 9. Halo 2. Halo 2 is a perfect example of what a sequel should be. It took the first game and improved on every element of it. It introduced improved graphics, better gameplay that included dual wielding, a co-op campaign that has now become a mainstay in the Halo games, as well as more complex maps and an online mode that would act as the base of many online first-person shooters for years to come. Number 8. Far Cry 3. I always thought Ubisoft had a great idea with the Far Cry games, but it wasn't until Far Cry 3 that it actually felt like this open-world first-person shooter came into its own. Far Cry 3 looks stunning compared to its predecessors, and improved on every aspect of what had come before. What it arguably improved on most though was its story. The marketing for Far Cry 3 did an incredible job at introducing us to the game's villain, Vaz. Everything from the script to the voice acting was a massive step up from the first two games, and was enough to bring in a whole new audience that would stick with the Far Cry games for years to come. Number 7. Red Dead Redemption. Although not a direct sequel, Red Dead Redemption is meant to be the spiritual successor to 2004's Red Dead Revolver. This is something that is often forgotten due to how much of a gigantic leap was made between the two titles. Rockstar took this western shooter and gave it the GTA treatment, making it stand out as one of the best open world games ever made. Unlike a lot of sequels on this list that improve on many aspects of its predecessor, Rockstar went one further and completely reinvented the game into something truly special. Number 6. Devil May Cry 5. It's a big accomplishment that 5 games into a series, a developer like Capcom can produce what I believe is their best entry to date. I will say that I may be in the minority here, but for me personally, DMC5 is the best in the franchise to date. It's full of everything you could ever ask for as a fan of the series, with plenty of fan service moments that brought an ear-to-ear smile to this gamer's face. This game features my favourite gameplay out of all 5 games, and has a good enough story to back it up. And yes, I may be alone here, but I even liked V.
I was catching up on some reading.
Yeah, looks like a real page-turner.
Number 5. Batman Arkham City. How do you take something as amazing as Batman Arkham Asylum and make it even better? You double the size and make it open world. That's how. Arkham City improves on Asylum by being an absolute stunner in the graphics department and taking the perfect combat of the original and building on it without taking away what was originally great about it in the first place. Having the ability to explore the streets of Gotham City was a fantastic addition that added a whole new dynamic to the series, and although the first game has a special place in my heart and may actually be my personal favourite, you cannot argue that the drastic improvement and work that went into this giant sequel makes it worthy of the 5th place on this list. Number 4. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. The success of the first Uncharted was a bit of a surprise. The action-adventure game was a lot of fun and established Naughty Dog as a developer that could do more than just great platform games. What its sequel did though was establish them as one of the best developers in the world and would act as a measuring stick for which every action-adventure released from then on would be compared to. It looked at what the first Uncharted did well and turned it up to 11. The set pieces were more extravagant, the gun battles more intense, and the story even more crazy and enjoyable than the original. Although you could argue that one of the successors were technically better, you can't argue that the jump between Uncharted 1 and 2 was the biggest of the series. Number 3. Assassin's Creed 2. There was a lot of hype behind the first Assassin's Creed game, and although the game was a success, it didn't quite live up to most people's expectations. It was mostly let down by some broken mechanics, a soulless and dull protagonist, and an open world that was impressive, but not exactly memorable. Assassin's Creed 2 fixed all of that in grand style. The gameplay was nearly flawless. Ezio is probably still the best character in the entirety of the series, and exploring the 4 different maps was a joy. This game is a standout example of how a sequel can not only improve on what came before, but completely breathe new life into it. Number 2. God of War. A bit of an odd choice maybe, as this has a feel of a reboot more than a sequel, but given that we continue to follow the adventures of Kratos from the original God of War games, this qualifies for me. Much like what Rockstar did with Red Dead, Sony Santa Monica took the previous God of War model and threw it out the window, deciding to completely change the formula from a fun hack and slash to something that goes beyond video game genres. Thanks to the incredibly satisfying gameplay, beautiful visuals, and an outstanding story revolving around deep and fleshed out characters, they managed to change the reputation of the series from a violent yet fun gore fest to an undeniable epic that is a must play for any PS4 owner. Number 1. Grand Theft Auto 3. For every entry in this list so far, I have spoken about what a sequel has done for that particular series, but this time I'm going to talk about what a sequel did for the entire gaming industry. I remember the first time I played GTA 3, my mind was blown by what I was seeing. It was the first time I had seen a 3D open world done to this level. Admittedly, every GTA follow-up since has been better, but it was GTA 3 that made the most gigantic of leaps from what it was to essentially what it still is now. It laid the groundwork for what would be the most popular video game series in history, and is something that has been copied and replicated for years, and will be for years to come. I truly believe I will never live to see such a dramatic jump in quality from one game to its sequel ever again, and for that reason, Grand Theft Auto 3 takes the top spot on the greatest video game sequels of all time. So there we have it. Do you agree with my list, or did I miss out your favourite sequel of all time completely? Let me know in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you check out our other videos and all the latest news and reviews at respawning.co.uk.
Let's get out of here.